Hello there, YouTube. This is part 2 of my sort of drum philosophy tutorial guide thing. And in the first video I showed sort of my setup. I showed you the different samples I'm using, some of the techniques like putting the hi-hats on the upbeat. I talked about the amen break, which I use here. And I was going to mention, besides from the parts of the kit that I showed you, the other elements that I'm using and how to use them. So, let me move the mic really quick. I will show you those other parts right now. Alright. The first part I will show you is using reverse kicks and snares. And I'll show you what they sound like right now. So here's the reverse kick. And I have it doubled up right here. And here's the reverse clap. Let me just turn this up a little bit. Alright, so those are what those sound like. And I am at 172. Which is drum and bass, and this is what the beat sounds like with everything else in it. Alright, so a cool thing to do is when you have a break in silence, like I do here, is use the reverse clap to bring it back in, so you can hear what that sounds like again. So that was the reverse clap and the reverse kick, both at the same time, coming to this sample of me saying boom, boom, and it comes back to the two claps and the snare. And notice I have the hi-hat on the upbeat here, the closed hi-hat, and they're muted in the silent part, obviously. So that's a cool thing to do, is use reverse kicks and reverse claps. Very cool technique, and it's a very interesting sound too. So that's something else that I do. Something else I didn't get to talk about was using changes in tempo, whether it's immediate or whether it's over a course of time. But something that's cool to do is to slow down over a short period of time, and like change from one genre to another. So right here I'm at 130, which is electro, and here it goes up to 172. So here's sort of an immediate jump right here. You can see what that sounds like. So it's an immediate change in tempo. And in case you're wondering, to do that, you go down to global tracks, and then you click down the tempo, right like that, and then you just double click, and then you just draw it up however high you want. And if you want to make it a slower shift in tempo, just drag that little dot wherever you want it. But I want it immediate, so I put it there. And something cool that you can do is you can slow down in tempo, which is what I do here. So we can hear what that sounds like. So here we're at drum and bass 172, and it's going to slow down all the way to dubstep 142. This is just a kick with two different echoes on it. So you can see how effective that change in tempo is, and it brings a lot more power to that first sort of punch with the kick. Like I said before, I mentioned that silence is often the musician's most powerful tool, even though it may not seem like it, or the absence of sound is a very important thing to take advantage of, even though it's not the most obvious thing you would think of when you're making something that's made out of sound. So if you listen when there's the silence, It just brings back the power to the next punch, and it makes for a more exhilarating sound, I think. So having those sort of breaks in the song really help. And one thing that I did over here, let me just fix the automation super quick with the pan. Yeah, that's good. Alright. I'll bring this back. Alright, so what I did here is I had an extra long little section of silence, and with the hi-hats you'll hear that it goes from one ear to another, and it sounds really cool. Check it out. So that's a pretty cool thing to take advantage of. Also make sure you change up the bass drum a little bit every once in a while, because if you keep it the same throughout the whole thing, it's a little bit boring. I mean, I have it the same for pretty much the whole section. This whole like dubstep drop, but I change it up a little bit at the end, give it a little bit of variety. And if you're making a dubstep song, something that I like a lot that producers do is to have the first drop, which is a halftime, or it's a much slower count. And then something that I like to do is when they do the second drop, they bring it into two-step. So it's twice as fast, and it's a very very cool way of changing up the song. I mean, you can do the same drop twice and like change the bass line a little bit, which is really cool, and lots of producers do, and it works really well a lot of the time. But I just like it with a little bit of variety, and it's just my personal opinion. But you can hear what I did here. I made it the drop two-step. If logic will ever work. So as you can see, it's still the same tempo, but it's twice as fast, which in a sort of a live scenario sort of changes it up, gives it a little bit of variety, you know, all that good stuff. And it's something that I like when producers do a lot. I'm not really sure how much time I have because I forgot my timer, but I think I'll show one last thing. I'm really happy with this build and drop, so I'll show you that real quick and then I'll be going. Here comes drums are fundamentally simple here. That's the point I'm trying to make. You don't have to have complicated drums for the drop to be good. They can be that way. I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm saying that this is the way that's effective for the music I'm making. And it may be effective for the music that you want to make too. So, as always, if you like my video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe. And send me a message if you have any question about anything, about where I got the samples, about how I made my synths, about anything, and I'll be happy to make you a video. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you like my work, and drop a comment if you like what I have here. Thanks.